This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, October the 13th, 1960, one of the greatest walk-off home runs in history was recorded. Obviously, by the picture you'll see. But anyway, this was the 1960 World Series. And in the 1960 World Series, Game 7 was huge. And it ended on a walk-off home run. But before we get to that, let's talk about the context of this series. A lot of people thought Pittsburgh was not going to do well. I mean, they won the NL for the first time since 1947, and with it, the World Series bid. They had some good pitching, and they had some very decent players, including a very young Roberto Clemente. They had some decent players, including the NL MVP, Dick Rote. Meanwhile, the big bad Yankees were back in the World Series after a one-year hiatus. I mean, before that long, you knew that the Yankees, they missed 1 year of the World Series, so they're not going to miss a second straight year. The last time that happened, that they actually ended up missing more than one World Series in a row, was 1944, 45, and 46 at that time. The Yankees would not have 2 years without the two consecutive years without being in the World Series until 65 and 66. So, man, that's just picture. So anyway, a lot of things happened in this series. Game 1 was at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh. Good ballpark. Pittsburgh won 6-4, scoring 3 runs in the first inning off of Art Ditmar. Now, Casey Stengel was criticized for not putting Whitey Ford in Game 1 because, if the series went to distance, Ford would get 3 games. And Ford was a pretty good pitcher and was aiming for the record for most scoreless innings consecutively in the World Series, beating Babe Ruth's record. And yes, Babe Ruth was a pitcher at one time. So anyway, Art Ditmar versus Fern Law, who was the NL Cy Young winner. So anyway, Roger Maris hit a home run when he was the eventual AL MVP to make it 1-0. In the bottom half, Dick Rote got a double to score Bill Verdon. And then Bob Skinner got an RBI single to make it 2-1. And Roberto Clemente got an RBI single to make it 3-1. Ditmar was pulled after only a few outs for Jim Coates. But it didn't matter. Pittsburgh won 6-4. In Game 2, the Yankees came back with a vengeance, scoring 7 runs in the 6th inning and crushing Pittsburgh 16-3. Bob Turley took care of Bob Friend easily. Mickey Mantle went deep twice. Yankees were up 16-1 at a time. Wow, amazing. Game 3 was at the Bronx, and New York crushed them. Whitey Ford pitched Game 3 at home. Weird how he didn't even pitch Game 2, let alone Game 1. But Whitey was on the mound because, Yankee Stadium is his home. And Ford took care of everything. Pittsburgh only got 4 measly hits off of him as Whitey Ford beat Vinegar Bend Mysell, and that's his name, to win. Mickey Mantle went deep, and so did Bobby Richardson. Game 4 was at Yankee Stadium, and for some reason, the Yankees lost. They were down 1. The Yankees were up 1-0. As the Yankees put Ralph Terry on the mound versus Fern Law. In the 5th inning, things were different. After a Moose Goodrin home run to make it 1-0 Yankees, Pittsburgh struck back. Fern Law, the pitcher, got an RBI double, and Bill Verdon put a 2-run RBI single to make it 3-1 Pirates. The Yankees did score 1 run, but it was not enough as Pittsburgh makes it 2-2. It meant that the World Series would be back to Pittsburgh for Game 6 no matter what happened. In Game 5, Pittsburgh scored 3 runs in the second to win 5-2 off of Art Ditmar. Roy Face got his 3rd save of the World Series. Very good. Well, Hardy Haddix actually started the game for Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh went with him. And Haddix got it going. So Pittsburgh had a chance to win the World Series and shock the 1960 Yankees. But sadly, though, that failed. Whitey Ford needed to pitch Game 6, and they did against Bob Friend. The Yankees won 12-0, and again, Whitey Ford pitched a shutout. getting him closer to Babe Ruth's record, which he would break in the 61 World Series. But yeah, it was amazing. The only problem with that was that Ford had a complete game, and Stengel was a little criticized for not taking him out earlier in Game 7 because that meant that he could have come out of the bullpen. But Game 7 was masterful. You had Bob Turley versus Fernlaw going at each other. Fernlaw was aiming to win 3 starts. Pittsburgh crushed him, though. Rocky Nelson hit a 2-run home run off of Turley in the first inning to make it 2-0. The Pirates would score 2 more runs on a 2 RBI single by Bill Fjordan. That guy is an icon somehow. And Pirates were up 4-0. The Yankees scored one in the 5th on Moose Goodrin's home run, his second, to make it 5-1. In the 6th, Bobby Richardson and Tony Kubek were on base. Elroy Face, the closer, had to come in. Well, why not? It's Game 7. Mickey Mantle scored to get Richardson, and then Yogi Berra hit a home run to right field over Clemente's head, and the game was the Yankees 5-4. Poor Face. I feel bad for him. The Yankees would extend their lead into the top of the 8th, 7-4. As Johnny Blanchard got an RBI single, who actually replaced Elston Heller at catcher for Game 7. Weird. But anyway, he got an RBI single, and Clete Boyer got an RBI double. But then the Pirates took the lead in one of the most mysterious bottom innings in history. After a single by Gino Cimoli, who was pinch hitting for the pitcher, Bill Vernon hit a ground ball to short that could have been a double play, but the ball took a bad hop and hit shortstop Tony Kubek in the throat. Kubek left the game for Joe DeMasteri. Dick Rote got a single to score Cimoli. Jim Coates came into the game for the Yankees and got Skinner out. Nelson flew one to right field, and that made 2 outs. Coates got 2 strikes on Clemente and could have finished it off. But Clemente hit a Baltimore chop, like a hit in front of the plate. As Goodrin and Coates both tried to get the ball at the same time, and Clemente speed made sure that the ball was held. Yankees were now down up 7-6. Hal Smith came into the game and crushed a 3-run home run off Coates to make it 9-7 Pirates. Ralph Terry then came in to get the final out. That should have been the game. Not so fast. Bob Friend came in the 9th inning for the save. Bobby Richardson and Dale Long, former Pirate Dale Long at that, greeted him with singles. Danny Murtaugh, the Pirates manager, decided he needed to replace Friend, so he got Harvey Haddix in. Roger Maris fouled out. 1 out. Haddix got a single for Mantle that scored Richardson to make it 9-8. And then one of the most crazy plays of all time, Yogi Berra hit a grounder to first with Rocky Nelson getting the 2nd out. But Mantle, seeing he had no chance to beat a play at second, decided to take a step towards second and then head back into first base ahead of Rocky Nelson's tag. As Gil McDougall, who was pinch running for Long, actually spotted that and went home, and the game was tied at 9. Had Mantle been out, the run would not count it because the play ended. The 3rd out was made before McDougall crossed the plate. But of course, the big picture was if Mantle was out, that was the 3rd out, and the Pirates would have won the World Series on a strange play like that, kind of like 1928, is it 26, when Babe Ruth decided to steal second base, and it was the last out of that World Series. So anyway, Ralph Terry came into the 9th inning. Bill Mazeroski faced him. Ball 1, and then he ripped a drive over the left field wall. Yogi Berra, who was playing left field, which is strange. I mean, to me, he's always a catcher. Tried to catch it, but no, it flew over the left field wall, and it was a home run, and the Pirates won 10-9, and it was amazing. And all that. Bill Mazeroski had a Hall of Fame career that was just basically met with excellent defense, but this was the big point. Mazeroski was the only player is the only player in history to hit a game-winning home run in Game 7 to win a World Series. Well, I guess Game 7 to win a playoff series. You say like Aaron Boone did that. Anyway, the only other person to hit a home run to win the World Series was Joe Carter. And that will be mentioned later on in the month. But anyway, Game 7 is the only game in postseason history. Wildcard game / wildcard round / divisional round / World Series. LCS / World Series to not have a strikeout. Nobody struck anyone out. That was weird. Bobby Richardson was the MVP of the series, despite him being the loser. 13. So, of course, prior to the mid-70s, network sensations did not pursue their telecast of sporting events, basically taping over them. All that. The first 6 games are no longer known as it. However, Game 7 was found. A black and white kinescope, basically a recording off the black and white thing, without using digital cameras and, PVRs and VHSs, was found in Bing Crosby's former home in 2009 in a wine cellar. Because Bing Crosby was a part owner of the Pirates. It was 2 separate sessions to watch the series live. Crosby listened to Game 7 with his wife, Catherine, and 2 friends in Paris, France. Wanting to watch the game at a later date, only if the Pirates won, he arranged for the telecast to be recorded by Ampex. After viewing the kinescope, he placed it in his wine cellar that was untouched for 49 years. And finally, Robert Bader, who was the vice president of Bing Crosby Enterprises, who was looking for videotapes through Crosby's TV specials to be transferred to DVD, found it. The 5-reel set is the only known complete copy of the historic game, which was broadcast in color. And NBC had Bob Prince and Mel Ellen do the TV guides. Prince called the first half, and Mel Ellen did the second half. Prince would, I believe, do the radio broadcast for the Pirates. All that. So when you look at that World Series, if you look at the composite box score, you see Yankees 55 runs, Pittsburgh 27. So the Yankees, when they won huge. When the Pirates won, they won by close marks. Imagine being outscored by 28 runs, or in context, 4 runs per game, and you still win the World Series 4-3. That's amazing. Like Pittsburgh, it was like weird. However, this would have a lot of consequences on the Yankees. Yeah, the Yankees won in 61. And were they in 62? Yeah, in 62 as well. But that forced Casey Stengel out of the Yankees. The Yankees put him into retirement and all that. Mostly because of Stengel's mismanagement of players and all that. They needed a scapegoat, and they knew Casey was that guy. The good news is that for the Yankees is that Ruff Hoke came over to be manager, and he told Whitey Ford, you can pitch whenever you want. You don't have to be under Casey's regime. And Whitey Ford was a better pitcher in 61 because of that move. Hard to believe. Anyway, so the Pirates won 4-3. That was a shocking win in every status. And this wasn't the last time the Pirates won the World Series. But here's a stat that will shock everyone. The 1960 Pirates, when they won the World Series on their home turf, that's the last time any Pittsburgh team won a title on home ground. You may be asking yourself, hold it a tick. Didn't the Penguins win Stanley Cups? Didn't the Steelers win Super Bowls? Didn't the Pirates win a few more World Series? You would be correct. But the funny thing is, the Pirates, when they won their 2 subsequent World Series titles in 71 and 79, both games were in Baltimore. Both Game 7s and clinchers were at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. So that's around on the road. The Steelers won all 6 Super Bowls at neutral site because the NFL always does that. The Super Bowl at a neutral site, so basically they don't count. And they're not going to bring a Super Bowl to Pittsburgh to be played in Pittsburgh. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, strange as it sounds, won all 5 of their NHL titles on the road. They won 91 in Minnesota, 92 in Chicago, 2009 in Detroit, 2016 in Nashville and 2017 in San Jose. I have a funny feeling I swapped those 2 years around, but you get the gist. But that was shocking. The Pirates have never won Pittsburgh hasn't had a championship on home field since 1960. Think about that. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.